10 minutes, right?
No, going live now.
What?
Making sure everything's set up.
Okay. Well, I love you guys. I'm going to let you go. Thank you. Have a good night. Bye. Okay.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Pulse Fired Gaming. Today we are going to be painting some ships, and this is what we got: 2 squadron tokens from OnePageRules for their Alliance fleet, and then these 2 ships from the EC3D Cashel fleet armada. I'm not sure. So we got our inspiration for our OnePageRules ship. Here's our inspiration. This is a very badly printed ship in FDM for our Cashel guys. So that's what we're working with today. Hopefully that's entertaining. We're going to get things prepped for a while, and then we're going to start painting at around 7 o'clock, because that is when we said we were going to start.
Can I make more than 10 minutes? Or no?
Six minutes from going like really live, like actual live. vacuum this. All righty. Camera's on. Microphone is on. You can see chat. I think we're ready to go. All right. Welcome to the stream. Thank you for tuning in. And today we're going to be painting some ships from EC3D Designs. These are from their Cashel range. These are squadron ships for the OnePageRules Alliance fleet, the same fleet that we were painting last live stream. These are the last ships for us to paint before we do a video on them. Real quick though, I'm going to throw some paint on these engine cones for an upcoming ship from BW Reynolds, just to get warmed up. It can be super simple because you're not going to see this base part, sadly, even though it's nice. Going to take some Retributor armor from Citadel and throw it on here on the inside. Or on the outside. On the inside, we're going to leave it this bright matte gray, because when we do get around to actually painting the rest of it, we're going to have some engine glow in there. So there's 1, 2. Thank you, Shadowcat, for checking my sound for me. Shadowcat says sound is 5x5. Now you'll notice this one looks a little offset. I don't know if you could see that. Whoop. You can't really see that, but the 3D printer messed it up when I was printing it, but it still fits in the hole, so we're going to leave it as is, because like I said, no one's going to see that part ever. So these engine cones that we're painting in Retributor Gold, or Retributor Gold, if you can speak English, are for... Whoop, Come on, rotate. This ship that we have waiting for painting, BW Reynolds threw this together. He said he is kind of busy right now with work, so he doesn't really know when he's going to get to the rest of the line if he decides to make this a whole line of ships. But he said that this is where he's going to start with. It's fantastic, well designed. Even in FDM, you could see that the hex grid that's inside here kind of shows up. This was printed at 0.15 on an Ender 3. And so I think that's pretty good. All right, so this is the established paint scheme for the Alliance ships. It's going to be pretty simplified on these, I think, because they're not carrying any of these cargo containers. So I think we're going to need, based on this, we're going to say, let's see here. What do we got? Where is our lead Belcher? There. So we're going to use a base of Citadel lead Belcher, which if you're not a Citadel person, it's kind of like it's a kind of a dark gray. It's a gunmetal color. And then we're going to use some Rune Lord Brass. There we go, Rune Lord Brass. And then what else? Based on this, I think we're going to use some Aethermatic Glow for the engines, but the engines are not very detailed on these tiny guys. They printed okay in FDM. I think I just used the auto tree supports from Cura, and they came out okay, but they're not fantastic. But they're fighters. They're strike craft, so not really a ton of expectations. I think I'll try to detail these panels here a little bit, probably with Rune Fang steel or maybe a color. Maybe you can throw some Mephiston red on one of them. are on one side and some cracked blue on the other. It's kind of been my go-to paint set right here. These 4 guys for this faction. So we're going to go from there. I'm going to set these 2 ships aside, but keep them kind of in frame. And let's get painting. So we primed these in 2 different colors. This is the shoot, I should have looked at it when I was doing it. This is Wraithbone spray from Citadel, which is crazy expensive. It's $20 a can. And then this is Krylon. It's like a mossy gray, I think they called it. It's interesting, but it's a very nice light gray. I was going for something that would replicate Grayseer a bit, and it's not there 100%, but it's pretty close. Shadowcat just mentioned that he's missing his Babylon 5 ships. I'm looking around to see if maybe we can brighten his day by throwing a Babylon 5 ship on the table. I think I'm going to re-prime this guy in this primer because it's nicer, it's brighter. I think it'll go well. But here's this is a standard Hyperion that we've printed in resin. This was an extra. Normally, so when you purchase 3D prints from us, we normally will print extras of a thing because we don't have if there's a failure on part of the build plate for our resin prints and not all of it, we don't want to miss out on the opportunity to use that one build plate to print out ships. So we'll print out extras, and most of the time we'll send those extras out for our customer. This one actually came out with a ton of extras, so we didn't have to send out all of them. This is actually, looking at this, this was a failed print. See, this was one that we were doing. You could tell the guns are pointed up. I don't know if you could see that. Oh my gosh, I'm not even on a camera. Yeah, you can't really see that with this crappy camera, but this is a failed print. That's why we kept it. That's why we retained it. Okay, so let's start with some Rune Lord brass. Oh my gosh. Got to learn how to speak the English in my offensive, generic foreigner tongue. Now, I'm not a very good painter. I don't claim that I am. So if you're watching my painting stuff and you say, oh man, that guy doesn't paint all that well. If you could do better, man. I like painting, but I am not good at it. But when we were analyzing what we did performance-wise at the end of 2021 for the YouTube channel, we decided that there's too much gray on our storage area. There's too much gray in our starships. So we decided to slay the gray, which I believe is the parlance for the cool kids, and present more painted content for the channel. This guy right here is he's got a little booger on him, so I'm gonna cut that out. Not really. I guess that booger's staying. Don't want to break it. Alrighty. We are not on camera. We should fix that. P3 does have an excellent range of paints. I have not gone and gotten any P3 paints myself. I think that is outside. I mean, there's a tendency in, I think, hobby painting to buy tools to substitute for your lack of skill. And I am definitely guilty of that in buying paints. Like I started with hobby paints, and then I bought some Vallejo World War II paints, and I haven't really used a whole bunch of those. There we go. And then I bought a ton of Citadel stuff right around the time I bought some Citadel models. Oh man, there's way too much paint. Not really anything I could do about that. Should have grabbed a paper towel or a napkin here. That's fixed a little bit. All right, so there's the first color down on these guys. Let's go over here and throw some on here while we're working out of this pot. Do the fins. I see there's 3 guys in chat. So I'm going to ask you the first question of the stream. What books are you reading right now? Right now, for me, I am listening to the audiobook of In Enemy Hands by David Weber. It's a book in the Honorverse with the character Honor Harrington. So if you're watching and you want to participate, shout out what books you're reading. Or if you want some book suggestions, throw that up in the chat. Maybe someone has got a book that you're interested in. I like a lot of science fiction stuff. I'm going through Honor Harrington again. And then I'll probably go back to the X-Force books. Let's see here. All right. So that's the first paint on the OnePageRules ships. Let's take a look at what we did with this guy. I apologize for the print quality on this. We had some pretty nasty stringing and zip problems with our printer when we printed this, but we figured, there's no failed print, so we were going to salvage it. So I see this is Rune Lord Brass, Runefang Steel. This looks like either Runefang Steel or Lead Belcher. That's Retributor armor. And then this looks like it's got a Agrax Earthshade, or more likely a Reichling Flesh shade in the little deep panel lines. So that's basically the same palette that we're working with already. So I'm going to grab the Corvette, and I'm going to take a look at this real quick. I'm going to say that on these panels, focus. Let me move this away and see if you can see this better. Nope, you're not really going to be able to see this until we throw paint on it. On the edge of the little winglets here, I'm going to throw some Rune Lord Brass to get us started on this guy. Great thing about 3D printing is if you don't like your paint or paint job, and you don't want to reprime over your ships for fear that you'll obscure the details, you can just print more. It's kind of the coolest, one of the coolest parts about 3D printing is you can print infinite things. All right, so Shadowcat said, I have just finished the Aule Stratagem by a friend of mine named David Clegg. Awesome book. Shadowcat, did you read that, or is it an audiobook? What genre is it? Is it just like modern war? Is it futuristic? Is it ancient? Is it just regular fiction? Tell us more about the Aule. I barely speak English. Stratagem. All right, so this is the. Have I named this on one of the? I think this is the frigate. Yeah, this has got to be the frigate, because I was thinking that this is the destroyer. But yeah, I think this is the frigate. Shadowcat says it's science fiction, which means it's going on my list because I love me some science fiction. All right, I'm gonna paint these panels that go underneath each of the wings on the frigate in with Rune Lord brass. Is that music too loud? It's blasted out of my cheap PC speakers. I think pulling straight out of the pot is okay. It's not great, but we're not going for perfection here. And I'm not really worried about spilling the paints. The washes, I kind of don't want to paint straight out of the pot because I've spilled lots of Nuln Oil and Agrax Earthshade. But I think painting the paints out of the pot is just fine. The crew of the CSS Aurora is a Confederate Navy response to pirate attacks that's been escalating. Ooh, that sounds almost exactly like what I just got done reading today. Honor Among Enemies. But you're saying that David Clegg is someone that we should take a look at, and I will do that because I like recommendations. I listen to audiobooks as my primary source of digesting media because in my day job, which is fixing dents for car dealerships, I have a lot of time to listen to things because my hands are busy. All right. So I think we're going to close the Rune Lord brass for now. Set it back in here. And we're going to grab the lead belcher. So on these guys, I'm definitely going to do the engines or the drives or what have you. Oh, is that a fresh pot of lead belcher? No, it can't be a fresh pot. It's got beads in it. All right, it's got the little stainless steel beads. All right. So engine cone on these guys. The other book series that I'm just chugging through is the X-Force book series by Craig Allenson with Joe Bishop and Skippy. And I've reached to the point where I'm going to need to wait for my next Audible credit to buy their next book that they released, I think in December? Fallout. Yeah, I think that was a good choice. I think that was a good choice for that. All right. Yep. Not a lot to paint in lead belcher on here. Shadowcat says the books are on UK Amazon. So I will definitely check that out. I don't know if YouTube will let you post the link, but feel free to post the link. If this guy's your friend, it's perfectly willing to give him a shout out. No, what are those called? No affiliate links, though, please. Alrighty. So there is the lead belcher done on those two guys. Now let's take a look at the Cashel Corvette. On here on the battleship, it looks like on here. So what I'm going to do is put it on. Put it on the tail and the nose in between this little filigree here. Filigree? Is that the right word? Maybe not. I don't know. I'm not a wordsmith. Got to be careful. I keep the small details. I hear my dogs skittering around. Oh my gosh, they're so excited about something. I think Mama's got them excited. That's awesome. Oh, they getting sticks?
They want a stick.
Mama's getting the dog sticks. All right. I think we're going to go back and do lead belcher on these arches. I think I'm going to paint this main section gold and then do lead belcher on those two little details. Man, the yellow is not liking that. Okay. Set that down. Now this guy has way more to do on it. Going to do the engine tips. Or not the engine tips, the wing tips here. It does have an engine cone or a little engine stock. We're going to paint the base of it, but we're going to leave this white part white. So when we do engine glow, we'll do a little spillover engine glow. These Cashel ships have been a long time coming. We've had them. We've had most of them, or like a whole little battle detachment for them printed for a long time. And I went and primed a lot of them and painted some of them already. But since we're doing fleet showcases, I want to actually get something where I could throw up a fleet showcase and say, hey, look at these ships. We were part of the Kickstarter for these guys from EC3D. I think these were the Astronebula. They're either the Astronebula or the Terra Conflict. But I think they're the Astronebula. Very cool looking ships. All right, so let's see if we can put some more. If you watched last Sunday's paint session, Ender, the guy in our chat who was doing all the shout outs and reading and stuff from our video game Discord group, said that if we got one of these live to 10 likes, he wanted me to paint the other one of these like a stalk of corn. And if we do that, 10 likes, I'm going to paint this like a stalk of corn. We'll see if we actually get there. Alrighty. So that's going to be lead belcher for now. Okay. Let's close up that pot. Doing straight from the pot painting today. Now on these guys, I'm going to do the little details. We're going to alternate red, blue, and red on this one, and then blue, red, and blue on the other one. It's not really a lot of places to go if we're keeping with this color scheme. Make sure that is on camera. Red. Ooh, that's a little wet, a little diluted. And then if I can manage to get in here without messing this up. Okay. Let's see if we can absorb that extra moisture. It's a little diluted. the print failure that we had with, we printed 3 of these and we're only, oh, that's messed up. That's messed up. Well, okay. We'll leave it unique. We'll call it livery. We printed 3 of these and only 2 of them came out because the bottom of the base snapped off. You could see it on this one where the base is kind of messed up. The other one did that, except it was pointing down, so it kind of messed it up a bit. All right, so on these, we're just going to put the center one red. And come on. If we get more serious about this, I think we will invest in a much better camera or figure out how to use YouTube with auto zoom turned off on this webcam. I turned it off in the webcam software, but it seems to be on for YouTube video. All right, now let me go digging real quick. I think on these Cashel ships, I had red in there as well. Let's see what we got here. Yeah. I'll grab the Juggernaut and the Destroyer. And also the reason why I started with these guys from EC3D long before any of the others is because this ship looks an awful lot like a Protoss carrier. And that's where I even got the paint scheme from, was to make this look like a Protoss ship. So that's where I started with this, and now I'm filling out the rest of the fleets. So we got the Juggernaut, which, while the ship isn't as long, it's not as long as the battleship. It's thick. It's a thick boy. It's big. And then here's a painted destroyer. Very pointy. Very, very pointy. Okay. So we're going to throw some red on these. That's the whole point of that. All right. Anyone else reading any fun books? Sounds like our royalty-free music decided to start playing again. That's good. I have a book club that I kind of just fell into. And we just got done reading The Three Body Problem. And I apologize, I'm not going to name the author because the author is Chinese and I'm not really good at pronouncing. I bet I could do it if I had practice, but I haven't practiced and I don't want to do it on the fly and do a disservice to the author. But The Three Body Problem is a fantastic kind of classical science fiction-y book that I think people should read. Someone on the internet described it as kind of like War of the Worlds in Chinese. And I think that is a fairly apt description of it. What else have we read in there? We've read the first book of the Powder Mage series. We read Project Hail Mary. We read the first book of The Expanse, which, if you have not read the Expanse series, or if you're a fan of the TV show and you haven't seen the books yet, I strongly recommend that you read the books, because the books, if you're a fan of the TV series, the books go past where the TV series has officially ended. They've stated that they're not making more with Amazon, which I don't know if that means they'll make more in some other method, but it does mean that they're not making any with Amazon anymore. And it kind of finishes out the whole series in the future in the Expanse world. They just came out with their last book, Leviathan Falls, and it is fabulous. It's a great ending. One of the recommendations that came out of our book club was a John Stakely book, Armor. Yeah. And I didn't really get into it. It kind of felt like very like Starship Trooperies in the beginning. If you've read the book or if you've seen the movie, it has that very much feel to it. Maybe with not so much military fascism, but what other books have we read lately? Artemis, which is another it's another Andy Weir book. Andy Weir wrote Project Hail Mary and The Martian, which is a fantastic book series. All right, so I think we're gonna polish these guys off with some quick blue and then throw some Aethermatic blue in the engine cones for engine glow. So this is McCragg blue, painting directly from the pot. You throw some on like that. Make sure I'm actually on camera. Okay. And on this squadron, we'll do the reverse, which is right here. Oh, that was a little messy. I frequently have folks over to play full thrust, and I've found that I think it's easier to produce content for that if you are playing with painted ships. All right, so that's the end of the blue. I think I want to throw some Runefang steel on this little top bit here, which might be the hi, Graham Bevan. Welcome to the stream. It is nice to meet other tiny spaceship fans. We're not rare, but we're kind of quiet sometimes. Ooh, that needs some mixing. Hold on. Graham, do you have Discord? There's the Full Thrust Discord group. Actually, there's a couple different Full Thrust Discord groups that have like play by turn playing. It's not. I mean, it's not really like playing with the starships in person, but it can scratch that itch. It's kind of like Tabletop Simulator, kind of. All right. I had to build my whole group. Had to build my whole group. Actually, hold on. Let me pop the Discord group in chat real quick. Where's that? Oh my gosh. I don't know what it is with this laptop. This laptop is, I think, well apportioned, but it chugs when streaming. Graham, I get it. Needing to move the spaceships around is definitely that tactile feeling is good. I'm gonna put the Runefang Steel away for a second while I grab a different paintbrush and throw some Aethermatic Blue as engine glow. I went into the local Warhammer store. It's interesting they call it the Warhammer store instead of like Games Workshop. And I said, "Hey, I'm looking for something like Tesseract Glow, but blue." And he, the wonderful guy at the Webster, Texas Warhammer store, said, "Oh, Aethermatic Blue will probably do that." And I agree. I think it was a good recommendation. It's got that kind of, I don't want to be pretentious, but kind of like an ethereal blue. It's very otherworldly, I think. I think I need to get on talking about full thrust. Actually, while we're here, let's do the blue on here. I need to get on. I reviewed all of the full thrust books that are available, all four of the official ones, and I read through the entire Project Continuum book for full thrust with the intention of putting out content about making SSDs for stuff like the Cashel or the OnePageRules ships, and I kind of had it fall by the wayside. I'm ADHD, and if it's not immediately in front of me, man, does it disappear in the back. I think this latest string of videos that I've put on YouTube is the longest that I've stuck with publishing YouTube content. If you look at the old content on there, it varies from like unboxings of tech and to like playing Minecraft, and now it's on starships, and it's been consistently on starships for quite a long time. I think that's a testament to me defeating my ADHD a little bit, that it's lasted for so long. All right, so we're going to call these OnePageRules squadrons complete. Actually, hold on. Real quick, we're going to grab some Abaddon Black. We're not going to get into basing it all, but we are going to black rim these bases real quick with a cheap brush. This video, when it gets published as a regular video, might actually have might be our first copyright strike. We went on YouTube and searched royalty-free sci-fi music, and this is what came up. So we'll attribute it when we post the video. Actually, we'll put it on the whole thing. But we'll see if Content ID strikes it, if it actually isn't royalty free. We'll find that real quick. All right, let's catch up on chat. They are OnePageRules ships, Graham, but we are going to use them in full thrust. We'll start with, we've been doing, oh shoot. Oh no. We've been doing years of full thrust light, so we'll probably start these with full thrust light, but they will definitely be kitted out eventually as their own ships. OnePageRules makes the FTL Warfleet game that simulates, just like all of their other content, simulates Games Workshop's old Battlefleet Gothic, but it's generic, and they have produced some really nice ships on for them. The two that have caught my eyes the most are these guys, and then the the progenitor fleet that we put on our channel as a small showcase. Believe it or not, that progenitor fleet video performance-wise does fabulously. All right. Those 2 ships are done. Okay, Shadowcat said he's just waiting for I'm gonna say like exactly like he wrote it. Just waiting for my shop I get Battletech from to get the Expanse RPG books back in stock. Ooh, the Expanse would be a good RPG, I think, backdrop to have. Really, really good. Okay, so the OnePageRules ships are done. Let's put them next to, we'll set the Cashel ships aside for a second. Next to, and these are the large ships. When you buy the ships, they come in both a small and large. So that is the light warship, the medium warship, and then the heavy warship from OnePageRules for the Alliance fleet. And you'll see these in an upcoming fleet showcase really, really quickly. We'll probably shoot that for probably a Saturday release. Okay. Looking at chat. Graham says that he tends to use the continual rules himself, although lately he's really been enjoying Starmada Unity. Why have you been enjoying Starmada Unity? And that's not an accusation. That's a genuine question. I haven't looked at Starmada at all. I have looked at it's that Michael David Hoyt. He did Metaverse. I have looked at that. I think it's a little complex for me, but maybe not. Maybe I just need to give it a chance. I like Full Thrust because Full Thrust is really stupid easy for the basic stuff. All right, so we're going to grab our Runefane Steel again, give it a mix because it was separated before, and we're going to look for some silver highlights to put out. Let's grab our... This is a cheap Chinese Wangchang ship. This is a number 1 liner. I think these are either from Amazon or Walmart, probably. They're good. They're good brushes for cheap brushes. Graham says ship design rules are really sweet. Starmada is about the same complexity level as Full Thrust. That's good. It's real good. All right, let's grab the Corvette. And then for the Corvette, we're going to take a look. We're going to replace the battleship as our inspiration ship. And we're going to throw the Juggernaut down as our inspiration ship. All right. If I move the light away, does it make it less harsh? It does, but it kind of washes it out. How about, oh, hit the camera. Oh, no. I guess we'll put it right about here and then hold it. No, holding it right here is okay. All right. Make sure we're on camera. Let's take a look. So this has Runefang Steel on a lot of the larger panels. I think we're going to call this guy out right here. All along the arm that holds the little wing on. And I think I'm also going to do the little ribs inside the wings in Runefang Steel on the Corvette. And I'm just going to rub it on there. That'll get it messy, but it'll get it where it needs to be. On these ones, I'll take a little more care. Graham, Shadowcat and I were talking about books that we have read recently. I told that I was currently reading Honor Harrington, the David Weber book, In Enemy Hands. I just started that. And Shadowcat had mentioned the author David Clegg, the Ale Sector. Book 1 is Slave Ship. He apparently knows the author and said that it's a good science fiction book. that he read. It's available on Amazon UK. All right. I think I'm going to do those two. As far as RPG systems go, there is a video on our channel that deals with a RPG board that we have printed up. We printed up all of part 1 and painted it. And we need to finish printing and painting part 2. We're going to have a 2-parter on our channel soon for the Alien RPG. No, the author's name is David Clegg. Shadowcat is the person in chat that had mentioned it. We were inspired to do that RPG board with a combination of things. We, quite a while ago, Digital Taxidermy put out a set of kind of xenomorphish tiles called the Lost Biolab. And we've been a long time supporter of Second Dynasty. So we took a combination of the Second Dynasty starship tiles and the Lost Biolab tiles, which fit in perfect. And then Papaskills on Patreon and then on Kickstarter has released a massive alien adjacent group. And when I say alien adjacent, it's like, let me grab some. Whoop! Clegg Shadowcat would be an awesome name. Okay, so here's one of the aliens from the Papaskills. I can't remember if this was from the Kickstarter or from their Patreon, but like seriously, this is generic enough, but this is 100% on the ball for Alien. So this, along with their other their Kickstarter, inspired us to really get on the Alien train, and that 2-parter will be coming someday. The first part is done. I just need to have a voice actor friend of mine record the audio logs that the players encounter, and then we'll get into actually hosting it and filming it. I need to get that done, man. I've been holding those players off forever, and I don't want them to get disinterested. All right, I think we're going to put a stopper in the Runefang Steel, and we're going to grab our last color, Retributor Armor, or Retributor. Can you tell that English is my first language? The Fourth Seal, going to start the Armory Wars graphic novels as soon as book 1 comes in. Who makes the Armory Wars? The Fourth Seal? All right. Well, we're waiting for Fourth Seal to respond if he's still there. The clock is 59 minutes, 49 seconds, and we're going to go for an hour and 10 minutes. We started the stream early to make sure that everything was working, so we'll let it go a little longer. This stream today was in lieu of... Actually, let's just throw all over here. In lieu of posting a video, because A, we ran out of time on the video that we were working on, and B, we need to get this painting done so we can actually move forward with these fleet showcases for these ships. We try and release new videos every Wednesday and Saturday. And then we've started doing live streams for painting on Sunday nights so that we can have our cheerleading squad in our Discord group in here. They are actually super supportive guys, so I love to have them here. But, live streaming can happen anytime. But the content's largely the same. It's relatively unscripted starship talk about the ships that we've printed and painted. Upcoming videos include the Cashel Fleet Showcase, which is these ships. We'll show the whole ship and how the fleet breaks down. We have the Procure Satyr from Resin Engine for Star Wars Armada. By the way, the starships that we print for our own table are all Starship Armada scaled. That's a vague term that means that it looks next to Star Wars Armada, although we try to be internally consistent in the universes that the ships come from. What else? Talked about the BW Reynolds ship that he recently produced that we need to paint. That'll probably be on our next painting stream, which is the little cigar tube BW Reynolds ship. If you don't know who BW Reynolds is, he's the guy who designs the stands that we use in our full thrust things. This is the squadron stand, and I have others somewhere. Here we go. Here's the 60 millimeter stand. It has arc and then course. Okay. And then we've showcased two of his fleets, the CSA and then the United Texas Republic. We're Texans here. Well, we live in the state of Texas, so we had to do a fleet of ships that was from like a colony of lost Texans. Those ships are very chunky. If you look at our channel, we did a video on the space station that he scaled. And, compared to the ships that he produces now, the scale of that space station is absurd. Do a little line highlighting. Oh, that's sloppy. Line highlighting. All right, so Force Seal says they're written by Claudio Sanchez, lead singer of Coheed and Cambria. I know that name. The band's album tells the album tells a story in the novels. Shadowcat says, I want to get butts on seats, a graphic novel. Force Seal says they're kind of hard to get since the first one was written over a decade ago. And then Graham said, funny how many settings have a independent future Texas in space? I think that's because Texans have they seem to be independent, and they have this funny notion that they could secede from the Union, which is not a legal reality. But hey, in the future, if they wanted to go to space, they could go to space and claim Space Texas for their own. Yeah. All right, guys. So, what do we do in the stream here? We've got the Cashel frigate, which is pretty good, and then the Cashel Corvette, and then we had the Juggernaut here for inspiration, because this is the established color scheme that we went with for the Cashel. We went and painted the OnePageRules, FTL Warfleet, Alliance Fleet, and they came out pretty good. Force Seal says the battleship looks super mean. Yeah. So the Juggernaut is mean, but the battleship is a nasty, nasty bugger. And it's super fun to paint. I look forward to painting this resin one to replace this this poorly printed FDM one. So this one was printed when it was printed in 2 parts, and it was printed when our printer was having some nasty stringing issues, which is why it's all boogie. But then you look at this one, and we printed this one in kind of straight up, like it was facing, if this is the build plate right here, is facing like this. So the bottom looks like trash, but the top looks really good for FDM. You could see the layer lines on it, and if that bugs you, get resin, because you can't see the layer lines on the resin. But it's just, they're fantastic ships. Hey, Palmer made it. Palmer, I ran a second test print after making some adjustments, and it printed the ship that I put on there. The EC3D ship repair station. That was pre-supported, and it was double sized, so the supports were bigger. And that came out like 99.9% good, like good enough to sell and ship. But I'm running one of my supported ships right now to see if it's doing well. It's gotten much warmer here, and that much warmer here, and that definitely affects prints. So we're gonna see if, now that it's warmer, if that pre-supported thing or if my supported ship works. I don't know. I don't know what to say. If it doesn't work, I'm gonna take it apart again, because the LCD screen, when I was replacing the screen, sat a little weird, and it's either like not cut right for the printer, even though it's specifically for the printer, or maybe it's just a one-off issue. I have a spare screen to test in it. I really don't want to do that, but if that does it, we will do it. I think we're gonna do our end roll here. Thank you very much for watching our video. This is Pulse Fired Gaming. We do Starship gaming and Starship painting and Starship fleet stuff. Starship, as the parlance goes. If you're interested in our content, feel free to subscribe to our channel for more. Leave a comment if you have any comments that you want to leave us, good or bad. Engagement is engagement. Like the video if you like it, and tell your friends about us. If you want to inquire on 3D printing license prints like the Cashel or the Babylon 5 ships that we print in Armada scale or other scales, feel free to contact us at pulsefired.com/gaming. And thank you very much for watching. Everyone, thanks for joining us, and have a great day.